Do you nail your pieces in practice, but the minute you step up to perform, it all goes out the window? I've taught performance techniques to over 2,000 musicians, and this is by far the most common issue they have. But there's a secret pro musicians use to stay rock solid on stage. So in this video, I'll show you exactly how to bridge the gap between practice and killer performances, so you can finally play your best even when the pressure's on. And I discovered this approach because I needed it myself. You see, I used to be king of the practice room, confident, making progress, loving how I played. But the moment I stepped on stage, everything changed. My playing suddenly sounded flat. Pieces I'd mastered fell apart. And instead of enjoying myself, I was just trying to survive the performance. And the most frustrating part was that I had no idea why it kept happening, so I felt powerless to fix it. Then everything changed after a tennis course that taught me the secrets the pros use to play their best when it matters most. First, I transformed my tennis game, and then I used the same approach to turn my music performances around. Here's what's really going on. Musicians spend nearly all their time practicing, so we get stuck in practice mode. Why does this matter? Because practice and performance mindsets aren't just slightly different, they're total opposites. In practice, you zoom in on details and you fix mistakes. In performance, you need to focus on the big picture and you've got to stay in the moment. If you only ever practice, you'll get really good at preparing, but you'll never unlock your best performances because you're stuck in practice mode. It's like spending all year training as a sprinter, then being thrown into a marathon and expected to deliver the goods. You know what you need to do differently, but you need a hell of a lot of miles under your belt before your body can actually do what you're asking it to. So you've got to stop practicing tiny little sections and do things differently. The pros train themselves to switch into performance mode on demand so they can shine on stage, not just in the practice room. And it works wonders for my students too. Like Bryony, who said, "I'm much more confident on stage and I can now pull out far better performances under pressure than I would in my practice room." Luckily, you only need a few simple steps to make this switch so you can play your best when it counts and feel proud of every performance. Let's go through them one by one. Step 1 is change your practice conditions. Imagine a boxer who only ever trains with a punch bag. He might have perfect technique, but the moment he faces a real opponent, someone who moves, dodges, and, believe it or not, actually hits you back, he's completely unprepared. That's what happens when you only practice in comfortable, predictable conditions, and then step onto a stage. Real performances are unpredictable. If your practice never matches those more challenging conditions, you'll get caught off guard when it really matters. So how do you fix this? Start adding performance practice into your routine. Here's how. Play through your entire set in one go, just like a real performance. No matter what happens, keep going to the end. This builds your ability to recover if things go wrong. And try doing this at the very start of a session or as its own separate run-through, not after you've already warmed up. Make your practice look and feel like the real thing, and you'll be ready when it counts. But there's another level we still need to add in. So step 2 is add some pressure. Ever notice how your hands turn to jelly and your brain does its best impression of a goldfish the moment you perform for others, even though you played perfectly in practice? Guess what? That is not a flaw. It's your inner caveman trying to keep you alive. Back in prehistoric times, being thrown out of the tribe was equivalent to a death sentence. So your brain evolved to treat being judged as a full-on emergency. Cue sweaty palms, racing heart, and the sudden urge to run for the hills. So it's not just physical conditions that change when you perform, it's your whole body. And if you never practice under pressure, it's no wonder your performance crumbles like a biscuit in a toddler's fist. And yet, most musicians think, ugh, why am I like this? Am I broken? No, you are not. Imagine learning to drive in an automatic car with the steering wheel on the left. Then, surprise! Suddenly, it turns into a car with a stick shift and the steering wheel on the other side. Nothing is wrong with the new car. It's just unfamiliar, and you need time to get used to it. So, how do you get comfortable with pressure? Well, start small. Try a few of these ideas. Record yourself in one take, no stopping. Play for a friend or family member. Or join a group class or open mic. The more you put yourself in those, oh no, they're watching situations, the less your inner caveman freaks out, and the easier it gets to shine when it counts. Step 3 is adopt a warrior mindset. Let's face it, gigs never go exactly how you want. The lighting's weird, the piano's out of tune, someone coughs during your quietest moment. But all that is only a sideshow. It's not the chaos around you that sends you completely off the rails, but how you react to it. The moment you start wishing things were different, you slip into victim mode. And even if it's just a little wish, it's enough that your focus shifts away from the music and onto what's wrong. And once that happens, it's impossible to play your best. Your mind is busy complaining how unfair everything is, instead of focusing on making beautiful music. The solution is to turn things around. Instead of wishing for perfect conditions, seek out adversity. Think, bring it on, or even, really? Is that all you've got? Treat every challenge as a chance to prove what you can do. That's the warrior mindset. It's what lets you stay strong and even get stronger when others fall apart. Here's how to train it. Set up adversity practice sessions where something is deliberately off. Maybe make the room too hot or too cold, use a dodgy chair, or play with some background noise. Then practice focusing on making great music no matter what's going on around you. The goal here isn't to become amazing at dealing with those challenges. Rather, it's to hone your ability to embrace difficult conditions without resentment. Train yourself to welcome challenges and you'll be ready for anything the real world throws at you. Then step 4 is stop trying and stop caring. Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to play perfectly on stage, the more things seem to fall apart? You're not alone. Robert Kriegel worked with Olympic sprinters who were training as hard as they could, but still not improving. Instead of pushing them to try even harder, he told them to try easy and use just 90% of their effort. Suddenly, every runner got faster, and one even set an unofficial world record. It's exactly the same in music. The more you try to control every detail in performance, the more you get in your own way. You end up tense, overthinking, and everything feels harder than it should. Here's why. Playing music is incredibly complex. Your body has to make precise movements, and you need to string a whole series of these movements together in the right sequence at the correct tempo. That's way too much for your conscious mind to handle. The only way to perform at your best is to trust your training and let your subconscious take over, just like you do in those moments in the practice room when everything flows. Unfortunately, when it really matters, it's tempting to grab the steering wheel and try to force a great result. You care about nailing every note, about impressing the audience, and about making the performance special. That's natural, but it's not helpful. The real key is to put your desire for a perfect outcome to the side. Not forever, just for the duration of the performance. Focus on the process, not the result. Let yourself play instead of judge. Here's a practical way to do it. Before you walk on stage, pick one simple thing to focus on. Maybe the sound of your tone or the feeling of the rhythm. Remind yourself, my job right now is to enjoy making music, not to control every detail. If you catch yourself overthinking, gently bring your attention back to that one thing. It's a paradox, but the less you try to control the outcome, the better your performances will be. This may well be the hardest thing to achieve, but it's how the pros are able to deliver such amazing performances. So if you'd like my best help with making that mindset shift yourself, then check out my Unlock Your Performance course. There's a link in the description below. And even when you've developed this ability to switch into performance mode, you still need to make sure that you can do it reliably when it really counts. So watch this video next, where I'll show you the simple pre-performance routine that gets you into your ideal performance state on demand every time.